Oh. He's late, but he's here. He's late, but he's here. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, I'm muted. That are on top of the intro now, cause I'm not muted. Good morning, all. Welcome to the show. It's Friday. You call this a live stream? I didn't even number the show. And I know a lot of you are going to be like, no, that's not true. James, you don't mean that. But I just woke up. I know some of you are looking at me and you're like, dude, there's no way that a dude like that just got out of bed. There's a dude that went on a walk on a beach right there. There's a dude that probably climbed something, right? And set up on top of that something and said, wow, it's going to be a great day. But no, I got up 3 minutes ago. And I wanted to get up 7 minutes ago. And I told myself 17 minutes ago, dude, you're going to really need to get up. And I really wanted to be here. It wasn't even like, oh, I don't want to be there. I wanted to be here. And so I am. And so I'm late. And that's what you get. Some of you are expecting a brutally dilating show that's going to take you to the depths of all things profound. But you don't want me to talk about certain things, right? So there's like this topic. We're not going to say that, but I'm going to take you to the deepest, darkest places. But not dark. Actually light. Yes. But more Busey colors. So they have that sort of dark theme. But we don't want to actually go dark, James, because if any of us call each other dark, then we're instantly are burned like vampires in the light because we are afraid of the dark. And all that stuff. It's the more I think about the criticisms of being dark, the more you really do understand why this is just a land of long children. We're people afraid of the dark. Did you hear that? Like 50-year-old people wandering around. And we're so afraid of the dark that we now call other people dark. We now say, yeah, I'm so afraid of the dark. You are that thing that I'm afraid of. Yeah. 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 But, it kind of shows you how powerful the dark is. Like, if you think about it, the dark doesn't have to show you a damn thing, and you were scared. And you're just intimidated. And you're just like, we have to burn that guy's house because he doesn't have a light on. And I'll fix him. Because, we're the good guys. We're the ones that go around spreading light by burning people's houses down because we thought they were dark. That's what makes us great people, Hey, not everyone could be a light bearer. So, we're going to burn down the house of anyone that is going to be a light bearer. See how that works? So, I love that dark too. And then, looks like, how are you guys doing? Is everybody doing all right? It's, you know what's going on, right? You know that if you read the description to the show, you know what you're in for, right? I mean, you've settled into that, right? We can drop the facade, right? Right? I don't have a giant slideshow presentation for you today. I've been up all night. And some of you guys aren't going to care about this. I feel like I have two audiences right now. One audience, there's like 3 people in it. It's a brand new audience. And the other audience is everyone else, everyone that's been here. And I'm trying to find a way to bridge the gap between both because I miss working with my hands. And you'll notice that the other day, it was announced the other day by the White House. I'm sorry, you can't notice. I really thought I had this image screenshotted in here, but it doesn't look like it's here. But it's actually not the big deal because it's just a simple. The United States government no longer considers there to be a COVID emergency. Just like that magic, no one was ever sick before. And I've spoken many times about 2 steps forward, wait 15 minutes. And how brutally effective that tactic is. In fact, I'm ashamed at how brutally effective it is because I watch it deteriorating. The very brethren that I shared a foxhole with. Some of those brethren in the last years have now turned in the very same way that I described. I told you that I think that you will watch a cannibalism set in the truth movement. And the reason why you will watch this cannibalism set in is because of this tactic of 2 steps forward, wait 15 minutes. That is such a brutally effective tactic. And one of the many features of that tactic is it causes a kind of cannibalism. And you watch that in the videos when you watched the beautiful, I think they're beautiful people, the beautiful people that were going to Ottawa and protesting. All over Canada, really. And that they were there, they were encouraging each other. Guys, this is not us. We're not here to get into fisticuffs, because that's how Canadians talk. We're not here to get into fisticuffs, eh? We can all work this out. And the very same attitude that's used to make Canada beautiful is literally used against it right there. And how the tactic works is understanding that the social pressures of politeness are far stronger than any sort of desire to have liberty. And we see this every day. I see this every day. I see this at home. I see this everywhere I go. And this is why I get called dark. I get called dark because I'm walking in and I'm offering something utilitarianous. Utilitarianaciously. I'm utilitarianaciously walking in. I'm offering something. I'm called dark for offering. Why are you offering things, you dark person? And what makes the offering dark is that you're showing that you see. That's what being dark means. That guy's dark. What that really means is that guy sees. That guy can see things. And there's something about him being able to see things that makes him dark in people's eyes. And if you think about what that is, they're looking at something that I don't want to see. And therefore they're dark. They are dark because they have had the nerve to look at something that I do not want to see. And that cannibalism is one of those many things that people do not want to see. People do not want to see that a social group, no matter how tight, no matter how friendly they are, will cannibalize itself if boredom sets in. And the 2 steps forward 15 minutes, I'm using boredom in a special way because its base denominator, the word is boredom. But when you are activated and when you're dilated and when you've traveled that way and when you're ready to stand and you're ready to do something and you've assembled, you've mustered, when you've become the minute man, that is where you are at your weakest point, and that is where you are broken. The Battle of the Kegs was a river along the Potomac. You know, even when you don't get a show, I'm still going to tell you things. I just want to point that out. But the Battle of the Kegs, no one has ever told you this before, except for me, if you've listened to my show before. So now you're going to be like, James, you're repeating yourself. This is not new. That's fine, but not everyone's heard that show. That was a long time ago. The Battle of the Kegs, river, Potomac River, Washington, D.C. Wintertime. The truth of the Revolutionary War is more profound and honestly more insulting, self-insulting than we think. Because the truth is that people were not actually willing to fight. This was not truly the Queen is taxing our tea, we must fight for our right. No. This was like more along the lines of, well, that's a stupid rule. Why are we following that? I'm not following that. That's retarded. This is the concept of the tax man. People used to know the tax man was like a completely retarded idea, and that why would you do that? And so when the tax man comes, you just don't answer the door. And yeah, he's going to be persistent as fuck. So you put the urine pot next to the door. That's all. That's all. And yeah, he's going to escalate it. And guess what? You have to escalate it too. And what happens? The taxman escalated it one more time than the people decided not to. That's all that happened. And now we have taxes. That's literally how it happened. And do you know why that fell? Why taxes became installed? Seriously, this is why. A dude named Cletus in Kentucky he was so done with the tax man that he spent all year prepping for it, and his neighbors said, "You're dark. You're dark." And what they really mean is that I don't want to live in the world where there are people around me who see things. I'm tired of seeing the tax man. I'm telling you, this is how it happened. I'm tired of seeing the tax man. I'm just going to pay him. And we do. And this is how government typically will win every war. The reason why they will win is not because they're better than you. It's because a bureaucracy will always have more stamina. And will always have more stamina. Always. Every time. John Henry, fucking badass. Right? Digging through a mountain under his own sweat. Tried to rest in the laurels of the fact that he was in pinnacle shape. Never once could use that shape, could burn those calories to look at the practical truth that this man was not fighting a machine. This man was fighting a bureaucracy. And it's so much worse than any machine you could ever invent. That the only true free energy device is a succubus, right? And the reason why they will always win is because there will always be that wait 15 minutes. And during that 15-minute period, the Tartarians and the Mandalorians went to war. And the Flat Earthians went to war. And all the private groups that disagreed with COVID are fighting each other and are eating each other or swallowing each other. When I say swallowing, I mean your group is our group now. That kind of swallowing. It's a conglomeration. Only capable, only here, only possible because of 15 minutes. It's the only reason why this works. If 15 minutes wasn't there, in fact, the thing that would bring us most together right now is if Paul Offit was to wear a white coat and we were to release a story that he was on a bus sticking random people with needles. And that if I could convey to you that happened, that the cannibalism would stop, and suddenly the same movement that you've seen really rise up out of COVID would swell again. But it will not be able to swell because there's 15 minutes, because the White House said this isn't happening. I don't think the war's over. I think that the tactics that I've been employing alongside of you need to change. Does that make sense? I've never thought the war is over because I've never thought it was a war. I don't think this is a war. I don't think that you ever really truly have a war with Predator. A war is a special word. A war implies that a bunch of people that love peace have no choice but to go and hash it out and fight it out. And I'm telling you that this relationship that's been forged by people who don't want to be dark and who couldn't wait 15 minutes, that is not a war. That is a natural relationship between predator and prey. Between predator and prey. And we are a Christian nation. And we have embodied praying into our very existence. We have a religion that's purely based on the idea of never being dark, of always finding another cheek to offer predator, because that is how we are creatures of light. Isn't that weird? This is really, if you were to map out the statistical philosophy, if you were to draw it out on a map, you'd see this. This is what you'd see. Do you disagree? Let me know if you think that's not actually how it works. Because I will show you the very same Zionist people that are Barfling Academy. Just show this. It's brilliant how he caught this. That military guy, really big into guns, really big into homesteading, really big into protecting his own, tweets that the government will never save you, and then 3 days later, tweets that he alone helped protect this country, and that if it wasn't for veterans like him, none of us would ever be safe. Right? This hypnotizing of the chicken is so easy. It's so easy, and I think we need more tangible things. I think that mustering around the idea that the predator is a predator is going to run out of steam. That's what I think. Especially when predator is boring, right? Especially when predator isn't eating right now. What happened? Predator ate a bunch of us, and now he's fat and he's lazy and he's laying in the sun in front of you. And because you don't have the strength to look at him, to eat him, you're going to cannibalize each other. I'm sorry, it sounds like a speech or a preach, but this really is what happens. It's what's happening, and it's what happens, and it's what happens. I think this is probably the best lesson for learning to find yourself, for learning to find the internal world, the stereoscopic internal world that's so crucial. I just think it's a big part of this. I think people are supposed to kind of let you down ultimately in that way. In the same way Predator's going to let them down. Because you really do need to build your own universe. And you're not going to build your universe if government's always Predator. Or if people are always there fulfilling you. Where would internal life ever even come from? I don't think it would occur, which is why it's so important. Look at this potato. Seriously. Look at it. Look at it, right? How are you guys feeling about that? I mean, I literally listened to metal. That's dark. Yeah, I guess metal's dark. It's weird. Metal's loud, not dark, right? If anything, dark would be like a really ethereal music that's trying to pretend like it's not music. And that's like light music, right? Right? Anyway. So yeah, I couldn't go to sleep last night. I'm sorry. I wanted to. I've been doing this. I made this gantry last night, and I freaking love it. Look, hi, I'm Gary the Gantry. I'm out of focus. He actually made me out of focus. That was hard to do. Do you know how hard it is to print something out of focus? It's really difficult. But I wish it would show you focus, because this thing looks beautiful. My God, looks like I ordered this off of Gantries Are Us. That's what it looks like. And if the focus did work, the irony that I'm literally using my favorite camera and it doesn't focus right now. There we go. Look at that. Okay, let's see if we can keep it. Turn it over slowly. Does anyone notice that there are no hubs? James, how did you get those wheels? And you must have ordered that from the factory, and the factory must have come up with a process where they're able to pressurely push wheels into something. No, I did not do that. I did not do that. I did not do such a thing. No. Additive, this is sculpture. 3D printing is sculpture. We figured out a way to mix a certain kind of sugar cane that we can spit out of a nozzle, a high-tip pressurized nozzle. We control with precision how we regurgitate that. This is what a beetle does. I'm a beetle. I'm a scarab. Because I'm dark. See, I'm a scarab. Ooh, he's scaraby, right? And on millimeter 22 of this gantry, right? Starting at the bottom, working your way up, on millimeter 22, which happens to be the millimeter right before those tabs start, my 3D printer texted me and said, "Hey, James, you told me to stop at millimeter 22 and to send you this message asking you, hey, man, can you please add 3 wheels?" And so in the middle of the print, I'm able to stick 3 wheels on top of the hub and then tell the 3D printer 2 hours later, okay, continue, and go back to bed, and the rest of the part is printed. Everything above those wheel stubs is printed at that time. What's a gantry, you might ask? This is James, how are we going to defeat the predator with this? You're not. Building a gantry is not gonna save you. You know what's gonna save you? Having discernment. You know what's gonna save you? Having calories. Do you know what's gonna keep you alive? Is having calories. How is a gantry gonna give you more calories? I don't know. I don't. But that's what I'm doing. I'm intuitively following my heart. I really think this is it. This is 80 by 20. This is 2020. It's by a company called 80 by 20. They're very confusing how they label things. And they're all like, oh, we're the guys that invented 2020. Look how special we are. And it's just a simple extrusion, right? It's a Luna extrusion, which it's not going to focus there. But the gantry, right, slides. Look at that. Look, because it's cut right. Oh, my God. Oh, it's so smooth. Oh, look at Gary. Look at how smooth Gary is. Look at this. You guys want to watch how smooth I am? Look at this. Wait. Look how slow I'm going. Look at that. Look at Gary. You guys are like, I wonder if James is going to have an entertaining show today. And of course, look at this. Come on. How could this not? Come on. Look at Gary. Look at that. Now, this may not thrill you, but my latest sculpture I'm about to cover in this copper sort of application. And I really want to get a good shot of that. And it's going to take like 6 hours. And so I started building this gantry, and it kind of got out of hand because my entire live stream, seriously, since Mr. Rogers came online, my entire live stream has been to someday find an excuse to freaking build that set. I don't want a Mr. Rogers set. I don't actually like that set. In fact, that princess, she kind of creeped me out a little bit. I mean, I love Mr. Rogers. But I've always wanted a house cam, right? Cam that like goes through the house. Like during our live stream, we could go rogue, right? And I could turn on this cam. James, what does this have to do with flooding buildings? Is it nothing? I don't have that stuff for you. And does it scare me to know that I'm going to lose you because I don't have that stuff? Of course it does. These wheels don't grow on trees, right? They're not. I got to buy the wheels. This is a 12-pack for $10. That's a lot, I think. Once you know the wheels you want, you can buy 24 for $9.79. It's not bad, you know. You can wait like 7 weeks, right? And when you get the package, you're going to be like, man, I need to make sure I don't breathe in when I pop these bags because I'm releasing air from a factory that I don't know what happened in. And who the fuck knows what's going on? Then you're like, I wish I could throw this away without releasing them. Then you start to think about how nature itself is utilizing the styrofoam peanut and the inflatable bag. I remind everyone right now to stop. If you're wondering what you're doing, please look at the description. Look at the live stream. Look at what does the title tell you. Guys, Ask Moth. I don't even have the same thumbnail on Rockfin as I do on YouTube. It's a different thumbnail. Do you know why? Because when I go to find a thumbnail, I pull it out of my downloads folder after scrolling for like 3 days to find a thumbnail. And then I have to do it on Rockfin, and it wants me to find the same photo. And I can't find the same photo. That was in the YouTube browsing window, not in Rockfin. Curvable. You can't tell this is a curve. Yeah, you can. Can you see that this is a curve? James, what did you do? James, what have you done? My God, James, did you just bend that 80? Here, let me do it again. I'll do it for you on camera. Look at that. I just bent 80-20. Look at that. And I turned it into plastic. That's how powerful I am. I've been developing a way. I say developing. This is actually not as easy as you think. I've been developing a way to print bendable 80-20 track. James, what are you talking about? 80-20 track that's bendable, people. Look, here's 30. Here's 30. These are degrees, right? These are actually 10. These are 10. 10, 10, 10. Added together is 30. But the print failed last night. All three of them failed. It's getting to a certain height, and because they're curved, printer starts to get nervous. Working on that, though. You guys still here? It's a sausage fest, says Harrison. Wow, look at that. That's an interesting perspective. Somehow Harrison has been able to determine the genitals of everyone in here. That's amazing. Is that what's happening, or am I missing something else? Is there something else going on there? No, now he's talking about Jesus. Okay. So it's, first he's telling you everything's sausage fest, and he's telling you Jesus is there. These little nuggets are slowing me down, but I can see by the way, this is going to be motorized. I could see this being motorized and starting up here and being able to move a camera from here downstairs in like a TIE fighter. I'm thinking like the TIE Fi cam is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the TIE Fi camera. That's what I think. And that's not going to save you from Fauci. Do you know why it's not going to save you? Because Fauci's not your enemy. It's not a war. It's a predator. Oh, that's good coffee. We do have an airship today. And I'm looking forward to that. I don't know what you guys are... I don't know how you guys are feeling about the show. I keep thinking maybe there's some interesting things in the comments, but it's weird. Seeing not a lot in the comments today. Yeah. Thank you, Steve. Steve's like, this is sort of like a live stream. Sort of like a live stream. So yeah, that's what I've got going on. And I'm sorry, I've been up all night. I've been up all night because making the sprint kind of took a while. I'm just mainly because I'm new to it. There's just a lot of things that you didn't know weren't going to work, and halfway through them, a lot of things that you figure out do work that you never considered whether they worked before or not. I seriously cannot stop staring at this gantry. It's just so clean and efficient, and I when you're looking at the manufacturing process of how I made this, which is very rudimentary, by the way. I'm not trying to tell you, look how impressive I am. I'm trying to tell you that look at where we are. I think that this makes what you would consider a modern factory, an injection molding factory. I think it destroys that. There are too many new variables that are available to us through these new kinds of additive. Keep in mind, this is additive manufacturing. This is what I talk about sculpture. With the exception of our food industry, all of our industries have been subtractive. We have pulled a large material out and we have removed the parts that do not make the material what it is. Most of what we build is that. Yes, there's things called metal foundries, but you understand that the metal foundries are not something that you could even count on two hands when you're building an industrial revolution across the world. The amount of energy it takes to have that, I don't think you will ever see again. And the reason why I don't think you'll ever see that is it's kind of like the great Hollywood movies. You would think that as time went on that the Hollywood movies will get bigger, but actually the opposite happens. What ends up happening is it's actually not that they got worse. I'm not saying that they're better. But you'll notice it's not that less money was going into them. The grandeur was diluted in the minutia. The same thing happened with Bitcoin. That NFTs were not able to sustain the pure raw force. Bitcoin was the giant big Hollywood movie of the 20s. And NFTs were YouTube. And that you really have no choice. If you're going to have YouTube next to Hollywood and you're going to watch that process slowly unwind over 100 years, you are going to have some leakage. The amount of energy that's focused around Hollywood, right, is going to dissipate into other things. The same things happen with currency. The same things happen with manufacturing. And you know that COVID was a jobs program. You know that, right? When I say jobs program, I mean, how do we convince 20 billion people that they're fired without them rioting? And the answer is we're going to have to deteriorate the dollar slowly and blame it on a series of unfortunate events so no one will notice that this is actually what's been happening and we've known it the whole time. And you've watched that. Right now, we're claiming that the banks are collapsing, and we're claiming that no one knows why. But you know that it's all related to this change. And it's kind of like trying to claim that even the word's confusing. Because 9/11 was a pillage more than it was a controlled demolition. And a pillage is a controlled demolition. Battle of the Kegs, Potomac River. The Minutemen weren't fighting. The British weren't fighting. Do you know why? Because the British were like, well, no one's going to kill me. I'm not going to fucking kill them. And the Minutemen, our guys, were like, well, I don't want to fucking fight right now. It's cold. It's fucking freezing outside. And that the only way that both sides, I need you to know that the Battle of the Georges was the Revolutionary War, right? King George, George Washington. Before all this happened, George Washington was famous for his uncanny ability to call peace treaties with Native Americans and murder everyone in the tent. Right? Conotacarius, the town burner. And that George was not hired by us. George was hired by George. And that the politician is asked to come in. And that the first thing we need to do is, now that we own this land, now that we've taken over, now that we've killed Montezuma, seriously, you need to understand the countries aren't what they think they are. You know, understand how the Spanish were tied into this. There's a reason why 5 to 7 countries were on this battlefield. It's because something much larger was happening. It was a franchise operation, America was. And after everything had been established, it was important to euthanize the violent tendencies of this land so that the chattel state could take hold. And the best way to euthanize the violent tendencies of the land is to have a revolutionary war. That's what we'll do. We'll throw a revolutionary war. And after that, we'll throw a civil war. And after that, we'll have World War I and World War II. And after that, we'll have some skirmishes. And we'll do whatever we can to convince the world that the key to our success is thank you for your service. Because we need to eliminate the violent tendencies, because as we raise taxes, as we do this, as we change this, we need a more amenable person to this tactic. And what does government use? Do you know how government wins? They deploy their most effective weapon, bureaucracy. Because they understand that the bureaucracy of it all will win the war. The most powerful weapon that government has is the ability to make you wait. And you wait because immediacy has been bred out of our blood. That people like George, people like Fauci, have constantly been appealing to the immediacy of anyone that they can, because they know that immediacy is the most dangerous thing that this country faces as a governmental, bureaucratic predator trying to maintain control over his Serengeti. That it is immediacy that he must destroy. Do you understand that the lion, the predator, is not seeking the strong. He's seeking the ones that elicit immediacy. That is the danger. And so even when you're calling for vaccines, even when you're giving a blank insert, what you're really doing is shooting the immediacy. It happens on both sides. You're watching people that will immediately believe something, and you're removing them from the gene pool. This is different. It's different. You could argue that since World War II, this is the first time that Predator has run the cheesecloth through the curd of its own population with such a thick trough. That it is pulled from its very own, this very essence of immediacy, because it understands how vitally important it is to squelch that going forward. Because its own people will not stop sucking the teat of the petrodollar. They won't. The very people that are calling me dark are the very ones that are saying, don't you dare ever, ever, ever look into or consider any kind of cryptocurrency. Because they're the good guys. And the good guys are telling you that while the government is out there fighting every day to stop you from trading private currency, that the secret thing that's actually working on behalf of the government that's going to make all this bad is private currency. And that the enemy of my enemy means nothing when you're living in denial. That you will ally with no one because you have to insist that this isn't happening. Because you're not dark. And only the dark among us would see what the dollar is doing. It's not the dollar. It's the Illuminati. And even though the dollar has the Illuminati on it, I'm still going to say, fuck anyone who talks crypto. Because I have full control over my dollar. And you don't. Your dollar's been drained every day while you sleep. You can't even go to the bank and get your money out. That's not true. I can go, no, you can't. I can go right now. There's an ATM down the street. Yeah, you can get $300 out. They're going to charge you $6. I'm going to charge you $6 for you to get $300 out. Do the fucking math. What is the percentage on that? What is the percentage on that? That's not your money. That's their money. They're agreeing to give you a certain percentage of it back. And that percentage is based on whatever it takes for you to believe that this is fucking legit. Same thing with your dollars. You cling to your dollar, insisting, well, that's why I keep dollars. You fucking Nimrod. You're the one ruining this for everyone else. You know why? Because when anyone tries to tell you about crypto, the first thing you tell them is how dark they are. This is how it works. And I don't even need you to like crypto. I don't. You could say, well, yeah, it does work that way, but crypto is all bad. Well, yeah, okay, fine. Believe it. But the fact that you're even calling millions of unique private currencies that have never met each other all the same thing kind of shows how many calories you have to see things right now. Do you know how we'd be winning right now? By restoring our immediacy. That's how we win. By you waking up and noticing that immediacy is kind of like a civil right. I have to say kind of like because I don't even believe in civil rights. I don't believe we have civil rights. I believe that Article 1, Section 9 says you don't have civil rights. Look, if public safety is ever a concern, the writ of habeas corpus that you think that you have is gone. Therefore, you have no civil rights. You have civil rights under a certain immutable condition in which an agency tells you that this is the time when you do have rights. So you don't have rights. You have privileges that are revocable. And the only proof that's required to revoke your privileges is for someone to say the words public safety. And the person that decides, you didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for him. There was never an election. There wasn't a referendum, right? We have referendums on all kinds of things. Was there a referendum on COVID? No. Why was there not a referendum on COVID? Hello? Can someone tell me why there's not a referendum on COVID? Because you don't have rights. And you shouldn't have rights. You know why you shouldn't have rights? Because nature doesn't work that way. That's retarded. That's the most retarded thing I've ever heard. Think a gopher walks around, well, I have rights. Damn right you do, Wilbur. Go stand in that road. You show them your civil liberties. That car will stop because you got rights, damn it. No, these are the things we tell ourselves, right? Just like when we say someone's dark. You're dark. You have right. I have rights, and you're dark. I have rights, and you're dark. Right? Figure out how to join these together. First, I got to figure out how to print them. Got to make the print finish. But then, if you can figure out how to join these together, because the gantry is suspended, it can stand either way. Look at that. It can go like this. Do you like that? It can go like this. It can ride like this. It can ride like this. The only downside I see to this whole thing, with the exception of me not being able to print bendy gantries, is in order for this gantry to do a smooth turn, you need 20 inches to do a 90 degrees. Yeah. It takes 20 inches to turn 90. That's a long time to turn. So eventually I'd like to have like a roller coaster sort of setup, but I'm not ready for that. I'm still learning. I'm a youngling. I'm a youngling in the 3D printing world. I've only now come up with my first gantry, see? Now he has a mustache. Gary has a mustache. Welcome to the world of gantry. I am Gary the Gantry. I will be doing the show from now on. You there. You there. Take the vaccine. Take it. Take it. See, Gary's using reverse psychology, aren't you, Gary? Yes, I am. I believe that the key to helping people is reverse psychology. Because if I told you what you should do, then I am teaching you how to regurgitate. But if I tell you what not to do, I am teaching you discernment. I wish this would focus on me. So he can fix his mustache. Look. He can adjust his little mustache. Read the description before you type. Someone's like, this live stream seems to not have any congruence. It's like, I know. I tried to warn you. I tried. Now you know what it would be like to live with me. Or I just wake up and we're drinking coffee together. This is what it would be like. I don't know if you'd want that either. I actually enjoy it. I'm not going to lie. I've spent time with a lot of people in the world. And out of everyone that I would most like to spend time with in the morning, it's me. I just find that I'm more agreeable. I've never called myself dark. I've said, James, you're closed-minded. James, you're negative. James, you're being mean. But I don't go around calling myself dark when I'm like, hey man, have you thought about how profound death is? It's like, no, I haven't, because that's dark. I don't have that in the morning. So I this is the internal universe. I'm spending time with my own green dragon. Right? We talked about digestion Wednesday. This entire reality, right, is this Maya snake that's eating you. Wouldn't it make sense that the person that's telling you that would come out with a live stream kind of like this, sort of off the cuffy too, like the very next time? Wouldn't that be more in tune with like what's really happening? What I mean is that if you want this like cutting edge dilated thing that doesn't offend you every single time you come, like every single time, how is that the universe? Where is that exactly? Because even when I stay up all night and it's not that I'm trying to stay up. It's that I don't want the moment to end. That's why I spend a lot of late nights tinkering. I don't want the fire to end. I'm in flow state. Making a 3D gantry. I find flow state from that. Some of you find flow state from insisting that there were buildings here when the Native Americans were around and they just didn't mention them. And that there's your flow state. I don't want to take away your flow state. I don't want to call your flow state dark. But I don't know how constructive that is. I just don't. I think ultimately we probably define our constructivity by not even practicality. It's more about by flow state. How do you want to spend your time in these 15 minutes? Because I was at the point where I'm like, yeah, let's kill Predator. Let's fucking do it. And do you know what I was doing to kill Predator? I was like, guys, we need to fucking adopt crypto. We need to create our own currency. Do you know why I know that I'll kill Predator? Because then there's no way that the government can tax us. We need private cryptocurrency. Not only do we need that, we need to push more of this VPN technology that all of us, if we were truly engaged in what we claim to be engaged in, we would be looking for ways to disassemble the government. And that when you look at the very symbol of what the government's power is, it really does exist in the dollar. And we all know how evil the dollar is. And the very people that I thought were here, that I was calling my allies during these last few years, I want you to know there was a time when I was there, when I was like, yeah, let's fucking fight. Let's fucking do this. And do you know how I was ready to fight? I wanted us, and still want us, to have our own private currency between you and me. And that every time we take that fiat and we dissolve it from the world, from the petrodollar, and convert it into this new Aquarian money that you and I invented in the basement with no other authority around. And do you know who called that dark? People on our side. I don't understand. I don't know if you get how profound this is. Because I'm telling you, if there's one thing that this war, COVID war, taught me, it's that our biggest enemy is us. It's your fucking neighbor wanting to cannibalize you because they just don't want to deal with the fact of what's happening. And as much as I pushed, and as much as I tried to convince, as much as I tried to educate, as much as I tried to explain that you are going to need more calories than this mentality of thinking that crypto is one single thing, that you are not going to be able to participate as a Minuteman and to fight for this land, having such a simple calorie allotment placed on something so important. This is the very essence of your energy, and we could not muster our own to spend more than 10 calories to even look into it. Do you know why? Because they were too busy watching and begging and listening for the next voice to tell them how to sit in their own fucking diaper and do nothing. And do nothing. And those same people made fun of the truckers who tried to do something. Those same people said crypto is stupid. Those same people said crypto is gay. Those same people said that anyone trying to educate you about how to eliminate the ability for government to take your currency, your vital life force, and those people are calling you dark for doing it. This is not a war. This is not us versus them. This is us pretending to be them because we lack the calories to be ourselves. And that's really what just happened. So I encourage you all to make a gantry. Because I don't know what else you're going to do, because I think the only thing you can do really is just to contemplate the symbiosis of this all. Because the only other choice, if you do not contemplate the symbiosis, is to declare the very people that are cannibalizing you to be your enemy, and they're not your enemy. They're people that just have zero fucking calories to understand who their allies are. And so they will cannibalize you just to pass the time, just to feel better. And that's the truth movement, the comfort movement, whatever you want to call it. That's what it is. And those are the people that you're going to have to rely on if you want to stop Predator. Which is why I don't think you're going to stop Predator. I don't think it's possible. I know that if we remove this Predator, those same people that called you dark or me dark, the same people that say crypto is bad, the same people that cannibalize you for not believing what they believe, would be the very people that started the new government. And that the first thing that new government would do was say, we need a space program. We need a Pied Piper, and we need to elicit Zionism, and give people an avenue to flex their jowls. We create the very same thing. The only way I know we're different is when a bunch of people would be like, "Hey, why are we using their currency? That's fucking whacked." Yeah, we should stop using their currency. When people are up all night trying to convince you ways to do something different, that's when Predator will get nervous. And Predator's nowhere near nervous. Predator's not nervous at all. You fucking kidding me? People right now are like, oh my God, Donald Trump was indicted. Oh my God, he's going to be arrested. Holy shit, what does this mean? Oh my God, we have to fight. We have to vote. We have to fight. We have to vote. And you're watching the same process happen. And no one's being fooled. Stop saying people are being fooled. People are getting what they want. Do you really think that someone's so fucking retarded that they think that there were actually buildings here and the Indians didn't mention them? No, that person is escaping. They're not retarded. They're escaping. They're escaping. They want the very dirt, the very things that they find in their backyard to mean nothing. They want this entire world to be reset in 138 years exactly on the nose, and do not be late. Because if we can say that all this shit is fake, I can let go. And when you start to think about what homunculus Earth is doing, every cell in your body is coming online, which means every cell in your body is learning to be in symbiosis. Even with the apathetic fucks that are insisting it doesn't work this way. And that's the only way you wake up. When your foot is asleep, this is what it feels like. Out of 100 trillion cells, right, that don't have blood, what is blood? The flow of consciousness, right? So when your foot falls asleep, the lack of consciousness has been able to flow into your blood. So you do not have a renewing of, hey, I'm vigoration, I'm here, I'm associating with all these cells in here. So you do not associate. So what happens? You feel that your foot is asleep. And that tingling sensation that you feel is your consciousness coming online. That the pinpricks are 1 out of every 10 trillion of your cells inside that place where you feel the pinpricks is coming online. And that pinprick, you know how much it feels. It feels very interesting. You're like, wow, my foot's asleep. And you're moving it around, but it's a fascinating feeling. There's nothing you can do about it because you're waiting for the whole thing to come online. And I'm telling you, that's what's happening right now. And that you are the tingling. You are that one cell tingling. And everyone else around you is like, let's cannibalize each other. And you're like, no, fuck you. And it's going to require you to tingle as loud as you fucking can. It's the only way to wake everyone up. It's the only way. But it's a symbiosis. Nothing's broken. It's just symbiotic. All right, guys. I'm going to, got 15 minutes. Hope to see you in Airship. High Magic tonight. I'm almost positive. Lovely show I've been doing with our own Sarcastic and Mo. Mo did a great stream yesterday. Encourage you guys to check out his channel. Encourage you guys to buy my books so I can you picture like the TIE-Fi cam? It's like we're here right now. And I'm like, hey guys, you want to see what I'm working on? And I could hit a button. And Gary the gantry could leave here. Go right there and go down the spiral staircase and be in the lab and drive around, show you what's going on, and come back up here. All on the same track. But no, we can't have nice things. Cause who knows, right? Anyway. I think you can do both. But I can't tell you though that it's a war. I've been in the military. I've actually was in the military during war. And during war, people don't treat each other like we treat each other. That's not what happens. This is what people treat each other just in nature. That's how. In a war, it's a very specific thing. Everyone's very dedicated to saying, how do we fucking fix this? And everyone's just like, I don't fucking hate crypto. I don't want to spend all this time into it, but god damn it, you're right. We need to. I can't fucking use our currency. That's what war is. War is. No, that sounds retarded as fuck. Why are we talking about that idea? Let's. Why don't we do this? It's a very particular kind of action, and everyone's together. And you feel that. Everyone's working together. It's a common thread. That's why I'm telling you. If we were as tactical as the government, you and me, we'd be meeting in caves and we'd be saying, okay, we want someone to pose as Anthony Fauci. We want you to run on a bus and start sticking people with needles. Because we know that if we instill that kind of terrorism into the mind, that people will finally say, hey, let's stop fucking around. Let's stop using their money. And you and I aren't willing to do that. The government is. That's the difference. That's the bureaucracy, right? Because the bureaucracy takes on the morality of that decision. You and I don't have a bureaucracy to blame it on, to say, oh, the system, system's doing the best. Oh, the system just killed you and you were innocent. Oh, that's a shame. But hey, what are you going to do? Bureaucracy comes, bureaucracy giveth, bureaucracy taketh away, right? It's the perfect excuse. You get it. You get it. Love you guys. Have a great day. And thank you much. Well, yeah. Hope to see you in Airship. Hey, if you don't have an invite to Airship, put your email in the chat and say, hey, can someone send me an invite to Airship? And I bet you someone will mail you an invite to Airship. So there you go. Love you guys too. Thanks for being here. Hope you still enjoyed this time. If you prefer it, let me know in the comments. If you really just want this whole gantry stuff to stop, that's fine too. I am looking forward to getting back to shows. As I've said before, we're prepping for Rhode Island, and there's just a lot of art that I'm making, and I really want to film and capture that art, because in the past when I've made art, I haven't paid enough attention to the actual art that comes from the making of the art. And so anyway, things like that have been the focus lately, which is why I've been making a gantry. I can't wait to show you this copper technique. I can't wait to show it to you. But I only get one chance, and if the shot's not right, you're not going to be able to show it to you. So there you go. Let's play this out. Have a great day. Hope to see you in Airstream.